Hello, friends. I am here with a really quick, really simple tutorial about how to do brush lettering using a simple Sharpie marker. So stay tuned. I can't wait to show you all the very simple little steps. So first and foremost, the most important thing that you are going to want to do is start off with a pencil. I cannot stress this enough. Having just a simple mechanical pencil that you letter out your words with first will make your life so much easier. That way, if anything looks wrong, you can just pull out your eraser. I love a white eraser. This is the Tombow one. I just erase things that don't feel quite right, and I re-pencil them in. I also love to work on a sheet of dot grid paper because it gives us a little bit of structure to follow. This is the Canvo practice pad from Catherine Puller Designs, and it's one of my favorite to use. Here I'm just reworking it until it feels like I've filled all the visual space, like all the letters are working well together. I'm really liberal with that eraser, friends. Don't be afraid to rework it over and over until it's something that you love. If you start with a good foundation with your pencil, you'll end up with a much, much better product, no matter what media you're moving forward to. Another thing I wanted to mention is when you work with your pencil, I recommend using a really light hand. Makes it easier to erase as you work, and when you get to the end, it will leave less of a pencil line behind. The other thing that helps with this a lot is having a good quality white eraser to erase with, because a white eraser is the least likely to leave a residue behind on your page. So here you're just watching me practice what I preach. I am lettering and relettering, erasing over and over until everything feels just right and I'm ready to bring in some ink. Once it's all ready to go, I am just grabbing a really simple Sharpie marker. There is nothing fancy about this marker. It is literally every Sharpie you'll pick up anywhere. And the first step is simply to trace over those pencil lines. We don't have to be super particular. I'm missing some of the lines. I'm not right on, and that's all right because the next step of this gives us some freedom to reshape a little bit. So don't panic if it's not exactly on. It's really, really hard to retrace your line exactly. So just go through, move slowly, and trace those pencil lines. Now, I honestly could have sped up this part of the video, but I feel like it's important to show you that I'm working slow. That's a piece of lettering that makes it go so much better if you're willing to slow it down and just take your time. So don't be afraid if this takes you a few minutes. It's worth the wait. Now you can see I've done my first thin-lined version. Part of the reason it looks cute already is because I did the pencil underneath to help guide my shape of my letters, and now I'm just going to go through and erase those lines because, of course, we don't want those to show on our final product. So the goal here, of course, is to get that brush lettering feel, and part of the way that brush lettering works is that the downstroke is thick and the upstroke is thin. With a brush, the way that that works is that you put pressure down on the brush and it makes a wider line when you're going down, and then you put less pressure going up. Of course, you can't do that with a Sharpie, and we're trying to simplify that process. So I'm going through now and just manually thickening the lines so that anywhere that I drew down with a downstroke is going to be thickened, and anywhere that I was going up with my pen, when you originally draw it, like when you are writing the way that everybody was taught to write cursive, the lines that are up are going to be thin and the lines that go down are going to be thick. If you have confusion about which part of a word or a letter should be up and which part should be down, there are probably about a zillion guides on the internet. But I think most of us, if we just go through and mock trace a letter, as in run our pen in over a letter in the way that we would naturally draw it, we'll see which part should be thickened and which part should be thinner. It's really that simple. I'm just going through and I'm making each letter thicker in the places it's supposed to be thicker. And in the thinner parts, I'm only tracing over ever so slightly just to smooth out lines, solve any problems, take care of like places where I might have been shaky or where there's like a jagged edge of some sort. The other thing that you will probably notice as I'm thickening here is that I don't always thicken the letter on the same side of the line. Basically, what I'm doing here is I'm looking at the way the words are laid out and the way the letters are already spaced, and if I need to add a little bit of weight to one side of a letter, then I'll thicken on that side, or if I need to create a little bit of space between that letter and another line, then I will thicken on the opposite side to maintain as much space as possible. Hopefully that makes sense to you. Friends, after that, we are just done. All we had to do was use these 3 simple tools, and we ended up with a really cute hand-lettered piece that has that brush lettering feel without putting in all of the hours of practice that it takes to get that thick brush lettering technique down. I think this is a really great place to start if you are wanting to learn how to brush letter but you're very intimidated, or if you don't want to go out and buy a bunch of tools, you can always start just with this and end up with a really, really great result. So now it's your turn. Go pick up a Sharpie or any other marker that you have sitting around, a pencil and eraser, and I want to see what you do when you play around with this really simple, really fun technique. Thanks! Till next time, friends. Bye!